Welcome back. Now, maintaining good dental health and oral hygiene is essential for overall well-being. But how do you keep your teeth sparkling and your oral health in top shape? To give us some tips, we've got dentist Dr. Tumi Shabalala in the loft. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you so much.
You've got beautiful teeth.
Oh, thank you.
Have you always taken care of your teeth? I have to know that.
I actually genuinely have, and I say every dentist has a dentist.
Tell us, what is oral hygiene?
So oral hygiene, it refers to the maintenance of your teeth and your gums, right? So anything within your mouth, it refers to that. So it's inclusive of you just like flossing. Yes. Every day, twice a day, and also just like brushing your teeth every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So flossing's a big one, right? Because a lot of us don't do that.
Yes.
I'm a lazy flosser.
So I must say, I think we have improved. So there are these other ones. It's almost like a stick, which I think is so much easier.
I have that.
Than if you've got that long one, it's a string. So that one is so nice because you can just sit and you watch absent-mindedly. You just go in between all of your teeth and get all of that gunk out.
And you know, it's so interesting that you mentioned that particular one because I started buying that in the last 6 months or so, and my kids have been flossing regularly because of that, which is great. I still must say I prefer the old school one. What does healthy gums and healthy teeth actually look like? Right.
So that's a very good question, but I can't answer that without putting out a big disclaimer that everyone is very different.
Yes, of course.
Right? So generally, like healthy gums, we'd say they are pink, we'd say they are very thin, and we'd say that they are not like swollen. There's no sort of like no
inflammation.
No inflammation, right? People of color, we've got a different, just a variation of a pink sort of gum, right? And so ours are not going to look the same sort of like shade.
Okay.
However, it does not mean because it's not the exact same that it is unhealthy.
So that's good to know. Tell me about bleeding gums. Is bleeding gums a sign of an unhealthy? Okay.
So it's inflammation, right? So each and every, just like one of us, we've got what we call oral bacteria.
Okay.
Right? Very, very like natural within our teeth. And so every time after we eat, there is like food that stays within our mouth. Okay. So this bacteria actually feeds off of it. And so that's why we encourage everybody to brush their teeth. So that is just to take down that bacterial sort of like load. Yes. So if you don't, there is what we call a plaque that stays in your mouth, right? Yes. So it's like a wide sort of, it's just a very wide, very sticky, and it's on your teeth. And so if that stays on for too long, it actually irritates your gums. Yes. And so that is a sign of infected gums, bleeding.
How often should you brush your teeth?
So I always say twice a day.
Okay.
Every morning, so we spoke about bacteria, right, in our mouth. So as you go to bed, your mouth is closed the entire time.
Yes.
So that's why as you wake up, there's that like morning breath. It's actually from all that bacterial activity that has just taken place. So that's why we say every morning, brush your teeth. And then every night, because now you've eaten for the whole day, and we spoke that bacteria, it feeds off of that food. And so we simply encourage you to, at night, brush your teeth, just to take that all down.
Yes. What are the foods or drinks that are not good for our teeth? So as someone that loves coffee, for example, I know that coffee stains your teeth. And you can also see, I'm not a smoker, but with smokers, you can see the nicotine impacts, you know, the texture, the tone, the color of the teeth. What are some of the foods and drinks we should avoid?
So that's a very good question. So I will always say anything is allowed in just a moderation, right? So even your coffee, this is now not something that you do every day. And I know coffee can be so addictive, but I tell people that maybe just twice a week, right? And your wines, your red wines. So those are foods that actually stain, and your curries as well. But even over and above staining, so now we talk about there are certain foods that are just like, that have a more acidic sort of nature, right? So your cool drinks and your sweets, those are actually what I also call foods that should be taken in like smaller sort of like quantities, because those are acidic, and any sort of acid, it breaks down your tooth layer. And so that is actually what causes cavities. as well. So over and above staining, food can also cause cavities.
Okay, so everything in moderation.
Everything
I like that.
in moderation.
Before we end, tell me about toothbrushes. What is the right toothbrush to use and what is the right way to brush your teeth?
So I'll always say go for a small sort of head.
Okay.
Because a toothbrush, it should be able to touch every surface of your teeth. So for example, your top tooth that's right at the back. A toothbrush should be able to fit within your cheek and that just a small space, right? And so that is very important, the size. And also, as you just mentioned, I think there's this misconception that if you scrub very hard, it's a little bit more clean. That is not true at all. So I always say your soft is your best bet. But then there's also the issue of the tongue. So some will say a soft doesn't actually get that tongue well. That's when I'll actually say you can have two.
Okay, one for your tongue and one for your teeth.
One for your teeth. Exactly.
I like that. Thank you so much. It was so lovely having you on the show. We hope that you got all the tools, the tips, the insights, and the techniques to maintain good oral hygiene and keep that smile shining, because as the saying goes, your best life begins with a smile.